Well, we may well be watching the least competitive World Cup across any sport of all time. This is like watching a men's team, a team of men against witches' hats. Against witches' hats. But India win against the second best team so far in this tournament by 243 runs. Virat takes the headline, scores his 49th ODI 100, equaling Sachin Ravindra, I think. Kohli was going so well overnight that he managed to adjudicate Shubman Gill getting bowled. 5 wides being changed to runs for Shreyas and his own caught behind in the midst of literally walking to 100. Kohli was going so well that Kusal Mendes, who was doing a press conference for Sri Lanka Bangladesh in Delhi, got asked if he wanted to congratulate Kohli, a game that he wasn't even a part of in any capacity. Jadeja, absolutely unplayable. South Africa all out 83. Stop the tournament. The fight is over. What's the point of going on anymore, Pezza? For the third ODI World Cup in a row, India finished top of the group stages. Eden Gardens absolutely heaving. If you are new to the channel, welcome to The Great Cricketer. Welcome back to TGC's World Cup Morning Glory. Click subscribe and watch us chronicle the absolute procession, a walking of cakes, a cakewalk to India winning the World Cup, Pezza.
It's starting to get silly.
Yeah. It is unbelievable.
It is actually approaching perfection.
Yeah.
This is overlord stuff. How do you not pander? In 50 to 100 years, when people look at the record books at this tournament, that they will be noting the scale of the dominance. It's one thing to brush aside also-rans, as India's been doing. It's another to bully your biggest contender.
Yep.
Humiliatingly so.
Yes.
And then, as you said, there's the crowd. Eden Gardens was fucking hectic.
Yes.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
The crowd and the team seem to be in a sort of symbiosis. They rise as the team rises. The din is growing with every game as the nation realizes that destiny is about to crystallize.
Yes.
India is an irrepressible juggernaut. If I was Indian, I would be very concerned.
Yeah, all the signs are there.
All the signs are there.
Collapse of all time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Pezza, I almost brought in some bamboo today because you're looking at a couple of pandas in here. You know what I'm saying? A couple of pandas just pandering. Eden Gardens, to be fair. Now that I know, because I think it was in our childhood with the VVS Laxman and Rahul Dravid.
Very, very special.
Eden Gardens game. Yeah, it's always been something that I fucking love to go see it. And last night, it looked pretty impressive.
Well, it's got the religious element as well. The Garden of Eden. Yesterday India went for a stroll in the garden.
Yes.
Just anything invoking gardens feels nice.
That's
and there's
true.
a Christian element to it as well.
That's right.
VVS Laxman. Yeah, and but that was electricity.
Yeah.
Last night they went fucking ballistic when
Yes.
Kohli came out.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it's on. Everybody knows this is on.
Kohli's 100 at Eden Gardens. It might as well have been Kohli and centuries, Adam and Eve. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Great Cricketer is brought to you by Cricket.com. You can download the Cricket.com app from the App Store and you get everything you've ever wanted in this life from the app. Is that an overpromise? Yes, but it's also, they're going to over-deliver for you. Yeah. Okay? That's what Cricket.com do, and that's what Cricket.com have done for TGC, and we thank them for supporting the show.
That's what God offered Adam as well, but he just decided to eat an apple. Also, Eve was made out of his rib.
God damn it, that talking snake. We start the first of the 3 things I want to talk about today, Pezza, and we've got to start with Kohli equaling Sachin, of course. He scores the 49th ODI 100 in his career, equaling Sachin in about half the innings played. I don't have my numbers right in front of him, but it's something about, you know what, I can just click this link here. He's averaging, is it 58 he averages in ODI cricket? Okay, I'm going to answer that question if I can keep talking. He averages 58.48. 289 matches, 277 innings. So what's that? 100 every sort of five and a bit innings, 5.5 innings. He scores 100 in ODI cricket. That's sick.
We'd be criticising him if he hadn't got it 1 in 5 games. So that's the thing. And he's the greatest. He's the greatest to do this code.
I saw a stat the other day. In fact, I saw it this morning. So Sachin was out in the 90s in ODIs 17 times.
Slats.
Indeed. People have compared Michael Slater and Sachin Tendulkar quite often, religiously so. More for the off-field exploits.
Yeah, of course.
Virat Kohli is equal third with 6 times dismissed in the 90s. Actually, Kane Williamson is equal second with 7 times. He was obviously out in the 90s just the other day against Pakistan there. Anyway, I just found it interesting that Sachin was out 17 times in the 90s. So, if anything,
Unders.
Yeah. The best player ever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Kane Williamson.
Exactly. Kohli was nailed on here.
Yeah.
Quality batsmanship on a deck that asked good players to adapt, and very few of them could, at least from South Africa. Hey, did you hear it was his birthday? I was online yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was scouring around. People saying, it's a special day. Yeah, don't know. But Kohli, 35 years old yesterday. Happy birthday, Vera.
Yeah.
And 320 was a great score on that deck. I think Ricky Ponting called that out early as well. I think his words were when they were deciding that, given it was so dry, the ball was stopping, Maharaj 1 for 30 or whatever, 250 or 260 would be enough. I think Ponting said something to the effect of there is no way South Africa's chasing 300 on this deck.
Yeah.
India still managed to put 320 on and probably left 20 or 30 in the bank there as well.
Yeah.
It was enough after Rohit. It was just enough. I think Rohit did his thing, and that was probably just about enough.
That's true. When I was watching Maharaj, he actually was excellent. He 1 for 30 off 10. I was thinking, you know who's going to be even better and even more unplayable on this?
That's all that happened. Yeah.
India's guy.
Exactly. Yeah. Every time he bowled a good ball, it's like, wow, Jadeja's going to be good.
I'm also really biting my tongue here, winding up about people that celebrate birthdays as men.
Yeah.
If you're a grown adult man and you're making your birthday about it's my birthday.
I think we sprayed it all out yesterday in terms of complaining about things adult men do. If you celebrate your birthday, happy birthday. I'm not going to say anything else, but you know what I'm thinking.
There's only one thing worse. There's only one thing worse than celebrating your own birthday as a man. That's celebrating another man's birthday. Unless it's Jesus, because Christmas is very special.
Indeed.
At Eden Gardens, the Garden of Eden.
And especially if you do that in a dungeon where someone's wearing a replica jersey.
Turn around, go to work. Shreyas Iyer played...
Weekend videos hit different. That's all I'm going to say.
Shreyas Iyer was fantastic. He scored 77 of 87. But you're right, Shubman Gill and Rohit Sharma at the top. I mean, they were going at 11s, 12s, 10s for the first, 7 or 8 overs. It was as much as that. That was when Rohit was out with an excellent catch from Bavuma, where he just walked down at Rabada and smoked him. Unfortunately, straight to mid-off from an Indian perspective, but that made it 1 for 62 at the end of the 6th over. So we're going 10s there. But then when Shubman was out and at halfway through the 10th or 11th over, they made it 2 for 93. So they were humming. They were humming there for a good bit. And then they've just gone about 6.5 in the end. So that seemed like way too many runs in the end. Jadeja comes in 29 of 15 to finish innings, as Virat was very sedate, circumspect for 100 to just push it through the offside with a couple of balls left.
Oh, you mean the actual ball that brought up? You know what? My little complaint with that was everyone, the commentator was gathering his words for that moment. The crowd was ready, and he pushes it into the offside. And I actually want that ball to beat the infield and be collected by the outfielder for my own, needs that haven't yet been medically diagnosed. But you know what I'm saying? It was just a cover point, or extra cover might have just run round and got it just outside the ring. It suggests that someone was in the wrong position. There, he should have been. Anyway, I'm just saying the aesthetic could have been slightly improved.
Slightly off.
Yeah, just slightly off.
Slightly off.
Sorry. 101 red though, and people will talk about, if they want to, talk about the pace of it, but the pace of it was perfect. They paced that innings perfectly. I think they're up in the top 5, or maybe the second fastest 50 run, second fastest to 50 for it as a team.
Yes.
For India.
Yeah.
Ever. So they knew that they needed to get runs against the quicks on a very, very dry wicket. It's exactly what they did. And then once Maharaj, Shamsi et al. Came on, they still took a couple of them down, but really they just sat on them. And then when the quicks came back on, took them down again. It was perfect. And then South Africa, just were Washington Generals. With the bat.
It just felt absolutely amazing. Where like
that's all he needed to do. 101 red, 100 off 120, and everyone else can booge around him.
Hey, I know that the whole tournament is just going so perfectly for this side. But like when Shubman's getting bowled, and then the umpire's like, we better have a look at that. And then Shamsi bowls a wide where Shreyas plays and misses like a paddle sweepy sort of shot. And then Kohli walks down the wicket to Paul Reiffel and goes like, he hit it. And then Paul Reiffel goes, okay.
Yeah.
And then gives it 4 runs.
That's right. Well, he wants to live too.
And then Kohli seems to like play and miss off Maharaj, and like there's and then de Kock like takes a catch and goes, yeah, it was out. And he just goes straight away. And Kohli walks down the wicket to Shreyas and he's like, no, I didn't hit it. And then like you look at the spin vision of it, and there's no snicko spot. But then you look at the graphic and it's like, fuck, it looks like he hit it.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that I'm wrong and dumb. I'm just saying it's going so fucking perfectly for it. You know what, Indian fans? Are you ready? Are you ready to be sucked off? Okay, let these numbers wash over you. It's time for cricket.com's stat dog.
So I sent him through this morning today?
Yeah. Quite a few games this morning. Yeah. A few games over the weekend were good games. They didn't send any stats through. Yeah, it was weird.
This morning.
Yeah.
Who's the good little boy?
Oh, these numbers.
Yeah.
These numbers.
I just scrolled 3 or 4 times to get through these stats.
My record vote, man.
Byron is the goat, man. He's right.
Who's the good little boy?
You know these stats when India's playing well, it's becoming like the scroll to find my birth year, like on
it just goes a little too long.
86. There's quite a few numbers down. Okay, obviously we know most hundreds and ODIs, Sachin and Virat on 49 each. Rohit Sharma is on 31. He's third.
Okay.
Most times dismissing an opposition for less than 100 in a year. Sri Lanka 3 in 2007, South Africa 3 in 2006, West Indies 3 in 1993, India 4 in 2023.
And they still have the Netherlands to come.
The biggest margin of loss by runs for South Africa in ODIs, this was number 1 by 60 runs, 243. The previous one
their
was
biggest ever loss.
Biggest in terms of loss by runs.
Right.
Yeah. So the second one was in 2002 against Pakistan, in Pakistan. Then there was a couple in 13 and 18 against Sri Lanka in Colombo. But this one, 243 in Kolkata. Not even close. Yuvraj Singh, 5 for 31 against Ireland. Ravindra Jadeja, 5 for 33 against South Africa in 2023. Those are the 2 Indian spinners with a fifer in World Cups. What about this, Pezza? In his last 18 overs, Mohammad Shami has bowled in this World Cup. He has never been wicketless in 2 consecutive overs.
Holy hell.
What the fuck?
What are we
watching? Batters with centuries on birthdays in ODIs. Yep. So there's Cambley in 1993 against Sri Lanka, Tendulkar against Australia in 98, Jayasuriya against Bangladesh in 2008, Ross Taylor against Pakistan. That was also in the World Cup. Tom Latham, 140 against the Netherlands last year. Mitchell Marsh, 121 earlier in this tournament against Pakistan. And then, of course, Virat Kohli, 101 red against South Africa in this World Cup. What about this one, Pezza? One for the spinners here, 1 for Maharaj, who was excellent. Entire 10-over spell without a boundary in this World Cup. Santner, Maxwell, Tikshana, Rashid Khan, Zampa, and then Maharaj last night. So, you know, that's a nice one for South Africa there. But let's get into the second thing. Jadeja, fucking unplayable. India made 326 for 5 off 50. And then South Africa lasted 27 overs. Jadeja, 5 for 33 off 9. Kuldeep also picked up 2 for 7 off 5. So the spinners took 7 for 40 off 15 overs. That felt like...
Mate, what was... It's fucking stick cricket. Look.
This is actually...
It's fucking on easy mode.
Like, if this was like a boxing match or a UFC game and you were the referee, you would have stopped this fight so long ago for the health concerns of the opposition, such as the beating that everyone's copying.
Mate, it really feels
it's a fucking joke.
Like... South Africa, it feels like they were thrown to the lions.
Yes,
you know what I mean? The lions are just around there. It's like, off you go.
Off you go.
Enjoy this. You're the feed today for the crowd. Just go, bring Jadeja on in the 8th over. Here you go.
There you go.
Enjoy.
Oh, my God.
That's what he did. 8th over. Deck tailor-made for him.
Yeah.
Haven't even seen a lot of Jadeja this tournament. I know he's bowled a couple of miserly spells.
Yeah.
haven't seen a lot of him because we haven't had to. Hasn't even got to that. So, like, well, let's just bring him on the 8th over.
Yep.
See what happens. Mo Shami, death taxes. Just polls.
Yep.
A couple of good DRSs overturned as well. Even DRS understood the assignment.
That's right.
There is a scenario where if Pakistan annihilate England, other results go that way, then they would face India in Kolkata. Does Pakistan want to make that game at the moment?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, but that's it.
I mean, the tricky one is, do we want the massive finances and the viewing numbers of that game, or do you want to save Pakistan cricket by not having to play that game,
Who wants to play India in Kolkata? I don't think a World 11 beats India on this deck. I don't think you could assemble an entire team of the best players, and I don't think you beat India in that game. I don't think you even go close. I mean, South Africa has half of that team.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're all out for 83.
Yeah.
Nobody's coming close to India in that game. That's 1v2 as well. It really is frightening.
South Africa clearly being the second best team in the tournament. They somehow lost the Netherlands, of course. Respect the Netherlands.
South Africa's meant to be give India a run through the middle overs as well.
Yeah.
Heinrich Klaasen's the best player. Spinader, Markham's.
I know the record chasing ain't great, and look, anyone that's going to play them in the knockout game, it looks like it's probably going to be Australia. Like, there's no way that Australia's going to put South Africa into bat first, because you want South Africa chasing, but 83 all out in 27 overs.
Yeah.
Spinners like 7 for 40 or 15. Come on, what?
Yeah.
Just fucking out of words for it now.
No, Australia actually played quite well against India, it turns out.
It's probably the closest game they've had. That's like the literally only 17 minutes that India felt any sort of pressure.
Yeah.
Won that game by
England
6 wickets
did okay
on
for
their
a bit.
dicks.
Yeah. But it just turned out it was a shit deck.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not really sure what else to add in the innings. I mean, it was just kind of perfect once again. So I guess we'll get into the third thing, Pezza, if you let me. Can Australia catch South Africa now? If we have a quick look at the table here. So South Africa now, despite absolutely flogging everyone.
Except Netherlands.
Australia only 0.4, whatever number is for net run rate, however that works. So I suppose there is a chance if Australia beat Afghanistan by enough, then they'll actually jump into second and then obviously win their last game against Bangladesh. And then even if South Africa beat Afghanistan, then there is a chance that Australia can actually finish second. It doesn't really matter, does it? Because 2 play 3 anyway, and there's no home advantage anyway. So.
Well, that's why I was curious about that question. Can we catch South Africa? Does it matter? Home away dressing room might be a thing.
That could be a thing. That could be a thing.
If they're playing, if Pakistan makes it, then that game's in Mumbai.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Someone could let us know what the MI home dressing rooms are like. Might be handy.
Yes.
Cam Green feeling okay, even though he won't play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Tim David could phone in.
TD. Yeah.
Jason Behrendorff.
Yeah, if you will. Exactly. There's that. Otherwise, it's looking like Australia, South Africa 2v3. I mean, big game for South Africa overnight against India. South Africa, we see you.
Hello.
Hi. Australia has to turn over a 0.4 or some let's get it started
I suppose the way I posit the question is if Australia somehow get themselves to second, and then if they make the final night, then you look back on the tournament being like, well, Australia were the second best team in the group stages,
right.
and it's like, well, it was a pretty good tournament. Whereas I couldn't think of anything meaning less given how far in front India are in the tournament and the cricket they're playing, and the every single player is in form, including guys that aren't even playing.
I think that so from an Indian perspective, you're like, okay, well, who do we want to avoid in the final, right? And people will be listening to this going like, well, let's go through the semi-final first, and that's true. But and there's an argument. There's an argument against actually each team. There's an argument for an Indian fan being like, no, we've got problems with all of them. And if South Africa bat first on in a final it's going to be Ahmedabad, that can do some damage there.
Yeah.
We'll come to Australia in a second. New Zealand have beaten India in semi-finals before when India have been looking pretty good.
Yeah. So the last 3 World Cups, India's finished top of the group stages, and they haven't made any of the finals.
But have they finished the top like this?
No, and it's not been at home. Are you nervous, India? Are you nervous about what's going to happen in the finals? Because you're going to win. You're going to win the World Cup.
You're going to win the World Cup.
If your team doesn't win the World Cup, I'd be very surprised. Your team's the best team by a fucking mile. Hashtag AskTGC. You know what? Get in your hashtag AskTGCs in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video so far, why not hit the like button there? Let me get this question up for you, Pezza, and everything else up for me. Syed Amir, 5247 wrote in.
7.
No, 7. Yeah, 5247. Hashtag AskTGC. Bye! As an Indian fan, India playing this World Cup feels like a South Indian movie where you know the hero is going to demolish the villain, but you still go to theatre to watch the way hero demolishes him. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that probably describes most movies generally, irrespective of the geographic location of said movie or whatnot.
I feel like most people in the world would agree that every team except for India are the villains.
Thoughts? The best thing going for India for me is that, like, and I'm not sure the last time I can remember this in a World Cup campaign, but like every single player is performing well.
Yeah.
So clearly the collective and the individuals are like riding the crest of a wave.
Yes.
They are all in on this. They're so sharp and switched on. There really appears little weak link.
If at all.
One thing that hasn't been pointed out, which is another excellent hallmark of a great team, you are not hearing one word about Rahul Dravid anymore, are you?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of focus on him. But no one's talking about him, which is perfect.
Well,
he's not taking a curtain call at the moment.
There's a New Zealand batter who sort of reminds me a bit of.
Oh, that's true. He's getting quite. Rahul Dravid's turning up in the media word clouds quite a lot without even really talking.
Sorry.
People might scoff at this, but like to me, this is coming down to the semis and the final.
Yeah.
Like any team that manages to defeat India from here will have pulled off one of the all-time heists and victories in the history of global cricket.
Are you talking about a smash and grab job?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
So, I guess I am.
I think if someone is going to do it, it's probably going to be one person, and it's going to be one of the greatest performances of all time to somehow trump this absolute juggernaut of a fully actualized side performing in front of a desperate home crowd in the right time, in the right moment for this country. Like, so if someone does something, it's going to be, if someone does something, it's going to be incredible.
And yet, this is the great inherited gift of our childhood. If Australia somehow, sleepwalks and dozes their way to a final.
Yeah.
We're here, are we?
Yeah.
I'm still, when I'm turning that TV on against all rationality, I'm going, we're a chance.
Probably expecting my boys to win.
Yeah, well,
my boys.
Yeah. So I'm expecting my boys to win. And I think that, what is the way to beat this India team? It has to be to bat first, to go all guns blazing, somehow get under the skins of their players. I don't know how.
Yep.
And
pressure.
And just to pressurize them into mistakes. It's like somehow you need that early away goal in European football, but in this case it's score 520.
Someone needs to score that early 520.
If you made 500 against India, you'd be like, or a chance. Honestly, if Australia made 450 against India in the final in the first innings and then Stark bowled the greatest York you've ever seen to knock over Rohit, I'd think it's 50-50.
I think after seeing this performance, we all it's just down to one country now.
Guys, it's happening.
New Zealand's got a great record
exactly.
in semi-finals, but are they going to make it? I don't know. That
is the narrative you want here, right? Obviously, you're slightly invested as an Australian, but Rachin Ravindra winning 100 against India in the World Cup final.
Feels like a win for India, though.
Show.
Because
we had 6,000 views, but that's a show.
We'd have to close the channel.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're going to win, India.
You're going to win.
You're going to win the World Cup. You're going to win the World Cup.
Are you?
Is there a difference between South Indian movies and North Indian movies? This question was posited as like it's a South Indian movie.
I got a feeling there are people in the comments better qualified to answer that question than
I don't think
me.
so. I want to ask you.
Well, I really enjoyed the food we got in Bangalore. I do like South Indian food.
Yeah.
I like the South
Same.
Indian fare.
Same.
It's one of the great privileges of our job is that we get the chance to learn more about any of that stuff.
Indeed. Plenty more coming on the channel this week. If you want to click subscribe and join us here for the fun and chaos, obviously there's so much more coming on the channel just throughout the year. There's obviously a massive test series between India and England at the beginning part of next year. That's before we get into an IPL and a World Cup next year. And of course, the rest of this World Cup here. So please click subscribe if you want to join us. More on the channel this week. Australia, Afghanistan is the first game I think we're covering, unless there's another game before that. Don't think so. Main podcast out tomorrow. Plenty happening here on the channel. A big interview coming later in the week as well. So please do join us. See you guys on the internet real soon. Cheers.